The Knights of St. Catherine, Chapter 10 The Heartfelt Apology. After walking through the woods for a little while, Hamish stopped and faced Ellie, taking her hands in his. He took it as a good sign that she didn't pull away. I don't know where to start, Ellie. I want to say Jack thinks that Vera got an acolyte to put a spell on me, but I feel that is a crappy way to begin an apology, by blaming someone else. I am so sorry I missed Henry and Whitestrake's birth. I really wanted to be there, and I have now missed out on an experience that I most likely will never get to partake in again, as a werewolf or a man, and that regret will be one that I have to live with for the rest of my life, no matter how long or short it may be. And what I said after Henry was born is the truth. I never thought I could love someone again after Cassie died, but I love you, and would never want anything to happen to you. I can't imagine my life without you or Henry in it. Please, forgive me. Hamish finished kneeling on the ground, looking up at Ellie. Hamish snaked his arms around her waist and put his head on her belly. Please, please, Ellie, Hamish begged, tightening his grip on her waist. Ellie didn't say anything for a few minutes, and then placed her hands in Hamish's hair and gently pulled him up. Ellie held his face in her hands. I do forgive you, Hamish, and I love you so very much, but if you do it again, I will not hesitate to put a knife in your heart, regardless of being Henry's father, Ellie finished quite seriously. Hamish was a little stunned at first, but broke out into a beautiful smile. Do you think Vera got an acolyte to do some dirty spell work with you? Ellie added. No, I'm pretty sure of it, Hamish replied. Can I kiss you now, Kiani? I'm about to burst as you still smell divine to me, Hamish begged, running the tip of his nose from the base of Ellie's neck up to behind her ear. Yes, was Ellie's whispered, almost a moaned reply. Thank fuck for that, Hamish exclaimed, claiming Ellie's lips with reckless abandon. Hamish backed Ellie up against a nearby tree, without disengaging his lips from the skin of Ellie's neck. Ellie was paralyzed by the intoxicating feeling of Hamish moving his warm hands up and down her thigh. He hooked his hand under her knee to wrap her leg around his waist, while firmly planting his thigh between Ellie's legs, making her throw her head back and moan at the friction. Hamish took the opportunity to continue his assault on the skin of her neck. You are wearing too much clothing, Hamish stated in between kisses. Ditto, was all the reply Ellie could muster while trying to get her hands under Hamish's shirt to feel the warm skin there. Stop, Hamish moaned, leaning his forehead on Ellie's and dropping her leg. Ellie looked confused by the sudden stop, but waited for Hamish to compose himself. I can't wait any longer, and I won't make it back to the house. I need this. I need you. Now, Hamish stated, ending on a growl that sent sparks up Ellie's spine. She nodded and began undressing, while Hamish did likewise, without taking his eyes off Ellie, almost as if she would disappear if he did. The second the last stitch of clothing was off, Hamish backed Ellie against the tree again, out of sight, and wasted no time intensifying the friction between Ellie's legs with his fingers, making Ellie moan. Kiani, I don't think I can be gentle this time, Hamish warned, rolling a condom onto his length and hooking his hand behind Ellie's knee to bring it back up to his waist. Ready? Hamish huskily questioned, to which Ellie replied with a hard kiss. Hamish thrust up and sheathed himself inside Ellie in one stroke. Ellie moaned and bit down on Hamish's shoulder, muffling her scream. After what felt like an eternity, Ellie raised her head and kissed Hamish forcefully while burying her hands in his hair and tugging on it hard. Don't stop, was all Ellie could mutter as she felt her abdomen tighten and inner walls clamping down on Hamish. I wouldn't dream of it, was his reply as Ellie screamed. A few hurried thrusts and a fuck me from Hamish that collapsed onto the forest floor. Ellie giggled and said, I just did. Hamish could only smile in reply. Once they were dressed again, Hamish dug his phone out of his pocket. Oh shit! Vera is coming to the house to meet Henry, he exclaimed. Ellie blanched but turned and replied with, You had better get back. Warn James and Randall to clean up a bit. Oh, and I want Gabrielle or Jack minding Henry if she gets there before we do. They won't fall for Vera's crap. Hamish and Ellie beat Vera to the house by a matter of minutes. Henry squirmed and fell into his parents' arms. The Catherine wolves had positioned themselves on the stairs. Lilith and Nicole stayed in the living room, while the rest of the Christopher pack milled around the foyer. Randall leaned over, taking a deep breath, and whispered, Again? Really? To Ellie, who smiled in reply. It was makeup sex, she shrugged. Excellent, Randall grinned, giving Hamish a thumbs up. So, the rumors are true. Another wolf pack and a pup. How nice, Vera stated as she strutted through the door. Don't make it sound like you were not appraised of the situation, Grand Magnus. For a fact, I know my white Grand Magus sent through the correct paperwork, and Nicole has generously been our contact for you. Also, keep my son out of this, Ellie remarked. I just want to see the child, Vera requested. Henry is over there with his father. Ellie gestured to Hamish, who had taken charge of Henry. Vera went over to them and pulled the blanket down to see him better, which Ellie growled at. Vera turned to see Ellie's eyes had gone werewolf blue and removed her hand from the blanket. But Henry put his hand on top of hers, which made her stop and look at him with tears in her eyes. I am very happy for you, Mr. Duke, Vera said, looking up at Hamish, letting her tears fall and wiping them away quickly. Miss Spencer, he is very sweet. How long are you intending to extend your stay at Belgrave for? Vera questioned. We will have to stay until Henry's growth slows down. Randall and I think it might be about 8 more weeks, Ellie replied. Then I expect you will be heading home to London as soon as you are able, Vera stated, turning on her heel and striding out of the door. Ellie stole a glance at Hamish as Vera left and saw the sadness etched on his face while cuddling Henry.